Welcome to part 3. This one is about data types.
What do I mean by data types? Let's go back to one of the previous files and then see. So you can't see many data here. So data is just a piece of information, as you know, and all of these are pieces of information. And obviously they're not all the same, right? Some of them, one is a word, another is a whole number, and another is a decimal value. And until now I've just been using informal terms. Now it's time to go over the correct name for each of them. So the first one is strings, right? And strings is the name of anything that is inside quotation marks, like words such as this. So a string would be, let's say, hello, right? So hello would be a string because it is within quotation marks. And if I put a number within quotation marks, that is also considered a string. And that is because it's within quotation marks. And I like to think of the quotation marks as sort of like the defining quality of strings. And so that's and strings are, they have a lot of functionality, but I'm not going to cover all of that in this video. And the second data type is integers. We've seen integers here. They're basically whole numbers. So 86 is an integer because it's a whole number, and integers have to be whole numbers, and integers in Python are exactly what they are in math. This also includes negative numbers, so negative 90 would also be an integer. So yeah, negative 90 would also be an integer, and the and a third data type is a float, right? So a float is basically the Python vocabulary for a decimal number, or a number with a decimal point. So 76.5 would be a float because it has a decimal point. And even though 4 is a whole number, since I've written it in the form 4.0, this would also be considered a decimal number, and it would fall under the float category. And it's also includes negative numbers. Negative 4.0 is also a float. And the last data type that I'm going to be covering in this video is a boolean. A boolean is very simple. It's either it's a value that's either true or false, and that's basically what a boolean is. It only has those two values. Any value that's either true or false can be considered a boolean. So if I did 6 is equal to 7, and then I printed this out into the output, then this would actually return a boolean saying false, because 6 is not equal to 7. And that basically concludes basic data types in Python, and we will be going over more advanced ones because these are not all the data types